Sandrine, come on, it's time to film.
No, I'm not coming until I know for sure Ghost is alive.
I guess we have to bring in Americ.
I'm back. Hi everyone, my name's Americ and welcome to a brand new review for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, titled The Long Night. As you can see, our usual host Sandrine is not available because she's on strike until Ghost is confirmed alive or dead. That's basically what's happening today. But we still have our regular GOT experts. Mr. Kenny, aka Axe Chucker, on Twitter is here to bring his wisdom, as always.
Am I an expert, though?
I mean, you're better than me.
Wait a minute, why is Eric laughing at me?
Speaking of Eric, he's our second GOT expert, also known as the Real Blackfire. You'll find their links in the description below. But without further ado, let's talk about the third episode of Season 8, which was epic!
Mind-blowing!
Epic. But you know what? Before we get into the big things, let's just talk about the opening scene. So we're seeing the Night's King, the blue spreading on Winterfell, and we're like, okay, this shit is going down. It's going down for real. But my big question, let's skip ahead. What do you think the next opening is going to be? Because now the Night's King is dead.
There's no blue.
There's no blue.
Right.
We're just going back to the regular white.
Yeah? You think we're just going to skip the whole thing again?
Well, I think they're going to change it up a little bit. There is no more blue, but now maybe they have a progression of gray first.
Ooh. That could be pretty interesting. But you know what? Let's start with the battle setup, like the one-shot opening scene. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that was cool. I love that. When you can plan it well enough that you can have one camera following multiple people around and they kind of bounce off, I absolutely love it. I was hoping it would go on a little longer than it did, but it was still pretty cool.
It was well done, especially with such a huge cast at the same time. It's just
Absolutely. It was perfectly well placed and strategic. And they kept jumping to the different characters, which was fantastic, showing their battle placement. I loved it.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, right? So they're showing the interior first, right? You're starting there and then you're expanding it out. You're seeing where everyone is set up and laid out and everybody's prepared. The Dothraki up front. And you're just like, okay, this is going to be huge. I love the tension, it was very subtle, but tension building up until you see Melisandre.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That was a surprise.
I was not expecting that. That was such a huge, epic moment.
Well, Eric actually predicted that she would what do we call it? Her Gandalf moment, right?
Yeah. I just thought that she came a little bit too soon.
A little too soon, all right.
She was pre-Gandalf, if you will.
Yeah. See, here's my thing. Did she come because she knew how this was going to go down exactly? Or she just I guess I have to be here at this particular moment to do this particular thing?
I personally think that she knew she had to be there at that particular moment, or at least at the battle itself. I think she was bored traveling through Westeros and was trying to get back up there. It's like, I got nothing else to do. Let me just come back up to the north.
Oh, man.
Kenny, what are your thoughts?
Well, the thing with Melisandre is that she's sort of got a track record of screwing up her prophecies.
Yeah.
So she thought it was Stannis, and then she thought it was Jon, when in fact it was actually...
Well, hold on. But here's the thing.
Okay.
So I gotta say, they kind of threw us for a loop, right? So she comes and we're like, oh shit. And then she lights up the Dothraki swords. And we're like, oh shit. And we're like, okay, this is gonna go down. It's gonna be epic.
We were all excited.
We're like, oh shit.
But here's the problem. That casting of the spell took longer than the Dothraki were effective in battle.
Oh, yes, that's true.
What did Americ call it? A 10-minute
ritual casting.
Ritual casting for 10 seconds worth of glory.
But I gotta say, I have to imagine the Dothraki who's close to her kind of knows what's happening. Imagine the Dothraki who's the end was like, what the Whoa! Shit! My son is on fire!
He can't hear. Just this line of torches. He's like, shit!
You've got 10,000 Dothraki screamers, and the last one was just like, I don't even know what's going on, but everybody else is raising their rock.
He's like, oh, whoa!
And can we talk about how they were not screaming for a very long time?
Oh man,
they started off yodeling very well.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual fight, the actual battle scene, and how it was set up. So the Dothraki go up first, and it's pitch black. Yeah. They don't see anything at all. So I had like a huge thought when you were like seeing them coming through and it's just the immovable wave of undead. That was insane.
It was like a tidal wave of undead.
It was a literal ocean. It was. I just don't know how certain characters survived that were on.
There was no way.
line.
Yeah. We have to like that one. We just gotta say like, oh well, you were lucky.
It's definitely a magical world.
It was you were like, oh, are you an important character? You will survive this encounter because it doesn't make quite sense. If you play Dungeons and Dragons and you are a potential DM, like someone over here, it would have been a total party kill, TPK from the get-go. Because you're getting too many ideas.
I got
on this.
so many ideas.
You need to relax with your ideas. Anyways, it was like, there's no way they were going to survive it. So Dothraki get got right away. Dany's like, oh, damn, I need to go down. Now, this is the part that I felt was somewhat unexplained, where Dany is going and Jon's going, they're starting to like mow down the undead. And then there's like this huge snowstorm that's coming through. Ooh. I guess it wasn't really fully explained. I understood it as winter is here. Is that it? Is that winter?
Well, yeah, the Night King brings that effect. If you remember at the very beginning of Hardhome, there was you had that effect. It was like an avalanche of wintry frost just rolling down the entire mountain, and then it swallowed everyone. And yeah, so yeah, we've seen it before, but not up close and personal. So that was cool.
They panned over to him, and it was like he was concentrating on his, let's call it spell, if you will. And obviously something that he brings with him, but something that he needs to focus on in order for it to happen. But clearly he was trying to stop or at least impede the dragons, as he was expecting that Dany was going to be burning up the lights.
As a tactician, the Night King is just up there, right?
Yeah,
like he was really well thought out, really planned it out, and it was to the point where basically the neutralizing, not destroying, but neutralizing the effect of Dany and Jon just sort of like mowing down the undead by cooling things down, to the point where people had to retreat in. And this is where I have to give it up to Grey Worm, making the stand and saying, protect them, and just basically sacrificing the grand majority of the Unsullied to protect the retreat.
But he survived.
He survived! I mean, I'm happy he did, but...
Incredible.
Maybe they are going to go retire and live peacefully in Nath at the end of the story.
Oh, man. But you know what? Give it up to Melisandre for coming in again to save the day and lighting things on fire.
Yes.
Oh, my God. That was such a cool move.
When they were trying so hard to light that area and they just couldn't do it. And
it's because of the effect that the Night King brought. Vision was impaired and everything. So.
But again, she took, quite a bit of time to get that spell.
Ritual casting takes 10 minutes.
Do we have like a maximum number of D&D references we can make?
No, there is no such thing as a maximum number of D&D references we can make. Yes! Let's go.
So she was ritual casting. She finally got her spell off. White's attacking her from all over the place. Thank goodness there were many characters there to help protect her, especially the Unsullied, but I think we had Jorah there as well.
Yeah. And they were like, and I was like, oh man, that's really good move. And I was expecting a little bit of standoff, kind of like when we had the standoff on the lake, on the frozen lake, and they were just gonna wait for the thing to die down.
That's what I kind of.
And I thought we were gonna go there, but no, we forgot, because apparently the Night King was like, oh, you know what? Let me just push my people in because I don't care.
He learned.
Yeah.
He learned. No, they had a little bit of a standoff, but then he was like, let's just throw some bodies on the pyre, like literally.
And that's the thing about an army where the foot soldiers are literally fodder. Literally fodder. It doesn't matter. He can just keep bringing them back or bringing new people in. The moment you die, you become eligible to join the army, basically. You become a conscript. So it's a very overwhelming force. There's no way around that.
Yep.
There's only one way to defeat a force like that, but we'll get into that later.
Before we start going into Winterfell and into the crypts and delving into that, let's talk about...
The safe crypts.
the very safe crypts.
Yeah, very safe.
Let's talk about how the Night King was fighting with the dragons and also fighting with Jon. So let's start with the dragon fight. So do you think that was really well done and put together?
Yeah, I enjoyed the dragon fight. It was chaotic and up close. They've not done that before, where you just have wings and teeth, and it puts you on the dragon along with Jon.
It was so perfectly set up, in my opinion, because the Night King was using the frost and the winter that had arrived with him to his advantage, where you couldn't find him. He was already at a disadvantage, 2-1.
Right.
But he was doing what he needed to do. Again, perfect tactician, in my opinion, especially when riding this dragon, not being someone that has much time riding dragons. But he figured this out, and he fought against Rhaegal, Viserion did, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was very smart. And now, when he gets knocked out, I'm not really worried because I'm like, oh, well, he's definitely going to survive that fall because, nope, apparently he doesn't take any fall damage. So he's on the ground.
1d6 per 10 foot.
Yes, he's on the ground. We see Dany and she's like, Dracarys. And we're like, oh my God, this is it. This is happening. Dany's going to solve the day. I was like, oh, this is early in the episode, but you know what?
All right.
I was willing to accept it. Except, guess who has immunity to fire? That's what I'm saying.
Weird.
I mean, come on, that was OP.
That's more than immunity to fire.
There was OP. There's no way the Night King has immunity to fire. There's no way. That made no sense.
The perfect part of that, when he looked back at her and he smiled.
I know that. Oh
Like,
man.
you thought Dragonfire
That was
was going to do
such.
something to me?
Oh man, that was so. Like, that was come at me, bro.
Yeah,
That was come at me,
totally.
bro level. Literally, like, oh, you think you can get me? It's actually the first time that I see emotion. on the
Right.
Night King.
Yeah. Right. We've
Like
never
any kind
really
of
seen it.
emotion.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's crazy. And you're like, okay, fine. And Jon is like, okay, let's go. I'm going to do it. Let's.
Because at that point, he's now off of his dragon, off of Rhaegal, and he's like, okay, this is my opportunity to come in and fight him one-on-one.
Yep.
That didn't work out well for him.
No, that didn't really work out for him.
So the thing is, look, here's the thing. And Jon, poor guy, he's tired. He's been fighting. He's literally was on a dragon. It's been tough. He's running full speed ahead, unencumbered, mind you. But
40 feet per round?
40 feet per round,
40
like
feet?
he's a fighter. He's a fighter class. He's going full speed.
Right.
And then eventually you're like, okay, is this going to be, sword fight? Is this going to be it? But the Night King turns around and that's it. It's a wrap.
Again, I think the Night King knows he's got some weapon.
He's
I'm
smart.
going to go with it. He's smart.
He's smart.
And he's like, why am I going to fight this guy one-on-one when I've got all the power? So he raises up the dead and surrounds Jon and basically pieces out.
Yeah.
Yep.
But here's the thing, and this is something that you kind of notice. There's only two entities fighting here, right? You have the Night King, who at some point would physically kill someone else, and you have the Whites killing a whole lot of people, but the White Walkers killed no one. There's no scene where you see a White Walker killing a single person.
Right.
That's like how badass they planned it out, where they were like, you know what? We don't even need to send the generals.
Yep.
Just send the foot soldiers. We're not doing this mano a mano kind of thing. We're just going to be smart, going to be effective. And, he kind of likes the drama of it all, just setting it up so that he can have the arrival he's looking for.
Well, again, and Kenny, I think you and I have talked about this before, the Night King has learned, and he saw several of his White Walker generals being destroyed when fighting against Jon Snow with Jon Snow's mythical longsword. He doesn't know probably that it's Valyrian steel, or maybe he does. But the fact is, he knew that was slaying his White Walkers without any problem.
Yeah. And so he was smart. He was just pulling them back because he knows he wants to keep the largest number of people in there. But let's go into Winterfell. So, and specifically into the crypts. So it was actually weird because we were all expecting the crypts to be not bloodier, but to be the center of it all, but it really wasn't.
For a moment, I thought it was when they had that scene with Sansa and Tyrion, and they're giving each other goodbye looks. I'm like, for a moment there, I was like,
that was such a good scene.
whoa.
was
Maybe
such a good
everyone
scene.
in the crypt dies, and then we have an epilogue where we have victory up top, and then they open the door to the crypts, and it's just a bloody mess.
Yeah.
I was afraid of that. Didn't happen.
Yeah. I think, well, since apparently everyone survives, I think in the crypts, all the people that we know probably survive.
Yeah, I think Gilly got away. Pretty sure.
Missandei's probably alive. Gilly's probably alive. Varys is also probably alive as well.
Sansa and Tyrion are clearly alive.
Yeah.
Everybody else,
Right.
yeah.
If you don't have a name, you're a red shirt and bye-bye.
Yeah. They really need to get it. I mean, here's the thing. I guess that you couldn't plan for this, but I guess you would have wanted to burn really all the bodies every single time you were putting them in, but you couldn't plan that
Right.
this was going to happen one day.
It goes back to the same question we've asked before. Why are the Starks not burning their dead?
I guess, it's like you don't believe in things because you haven't seen them in so long. For the longest time, they didn't even think White Walkers were real.
That's true, but they've been doing this even when they knew that White Walkers were real.
Yeah.
Right. We're one of the things here is we're kind of crossing into book territory as well. You
As
know what
we
I mean?
typically do when I'm on, so I apologize.
No,
Eric.
go ahead. What do you mean? Elaborate.
Well, the fact that the Starks have this connection to the Night, possibly to the Night King. He was possibly the 13th Lord Commander. I mean, that was the rumor anyway. And then he was, I think they said possibly a bastard Stark. Do we know that?
We don't know that for sure, but it's
Okay.
something that we are thinking is true.
Right.
Yeah.
And there have been many hints in the books as to the Starks' actual ties with the threat beyond the wall. So for them to not burn the dead does seem a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's something there, Axie, I just don't know.
In the books, it might be different. That's what I'm saying. And this, I don't want to go too off script here, but in the books, there's no Night King. This whole thing is not going to happen in the books.
Really?
None of it.
What?
It's not going to happen.
What?
It's going to be
It's
definitely
fan fiction.
there'll be a definite variation. This is the showrunners just
This is a homebrew.
they don't have the material anymore, so they're coming up with what they
Right.
think.
But here's the other thing. The scene where the Night King brings everyone back. So obviously in the crypt is going down, but also above, all the people on your side who had just been killed, now coming back. I mean, it was like, oh, hell no, I give up. It was like,
Yeah,
nope,
yeah.
I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
There was a point where I was thinking, yeah, it's over. They lost. It's done.
Oh man, it was
They were-
so...
literally, they were fighting 7, 8, 9, 10 to 1. They were just literally swinging their sword back at one point, just trying to keep them back, the Whites back, from attacking and killing them.
The thing about the Whites, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, they seem a little bit easy to kill and all that. It's just, I think primarily it's because if they were being fought with normal weapons, it would have been harder to kill,
Yeah,
right?
probably.
The fact that they were fought with Valyrian steel made them more of like a lot of one-shot kills, right? So there were,
Valyrian steel as well as the daggers made of
Dragon glass.
Dragon glass, yeah. So that thing, I think that really brought the one-shot kills up, and which is why it would explain why one character could potentially take on 5, 10, apparently 30. I don't know. The count was unreal.
How many did Arya take on?
Like they were like, yeah, it was pretty epic.
She's clearly a rogue.
She's clearly.
Just saying.
Okay, he's a rogue in our D&D campaign. That's why he's bragging and everything. But I'm also a rogue. God damn it.
Too many rogues.
Sort of. Yeah.
Kind of rogue.
Arya is a much higher level rogue than either y'all.
Yeah. She's what, level 15?
Yeah, I think so.
she pulled some stuff.
She's a full on faceless man.
She's got a lot of bonus action, a lot of evasion
Something
going
to
on.
aspire to.
Before we go on to talk about all the people who fell during this encounter, let's talk about Arya. In the castle, in Winterfell, in the library, holy moly.
Yeah, that was that totally changed the feel of the episode at that point. You're suddenly like, wow, I'm in The Walking Dead now.
It's a horror movie. It was a horror movie.
yeah.
Literally zombies about. Now, I did wonder, like, all those zombies going in, kill, going to the library. Oh, let me peruse.
Right? Very respectful undead there in the library. They're clearly, they know the rules of a library. They're like,
They're book readers.
They were looking for the next George R. R. Martin book.
Listen, the showrunners needed some extra material for the next couple of episodes, so they were in there just poking around.
Poking around, seeing what's there, what's what. Oh, man, that was so awesome. And Arya.
Arya again, yes. Whew.
So smart.
That's
So
that
good.
smooth kill.
Quiet. Stealth. was on point. Oof. She definitely rolled a 20 on stealth. Give it up to her.
But she has high initiative, like any good rogue would.
Any good rogue, yes.
I love this
bonus actions every round.
Yes. Yeah. She was really, really killing it. But eventually, literally like everything else, when she managed to get out, and that's when she encountered the other just like overwhelming force of not so respectful undead.
Not so very disrespectful.
Yes.
He's like, time to go.
Which really, and I have to give it up to like this setup of, okay, Arya's in the middle of it. How is she gonna get out of it? Mm-hmm. And then yet again, the Hound comes to the rescue, accompanied by none other than Beric Dondarrion.
Kenny, I don't know about you, but I like the fact that the Hound was scared.
It was realistic.
It was realistic. And there was fire present, so that was...
It made sense. Yeah. But he was also like, look, this is fruitless, guys. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then Beric's like, you're letting a little girl show you up. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Look at how badass she is.
Speaking of Beric, his whole purpose was really just basically to die to save Arya so that she could accomplish her purpose in life, which is take down the Night King. So, yeah. Who knew? But now, what do you think about...
Who knew? Brand new.
Well, brand new a lot of things.
Azor Ahariya.
But here's
the whole thing with Beric is weak. It's weak.
Okay, you can't be in this.
Wow.
Ghost isn't back
Go back to your room, Sandrine.
Okay, so on behalf of Sandrine, I must add that she doesn't think that it was a proper way to end Beric. Generally, she was like, why keep him? What was the purpose of this character to just...
He had the best purpose there was.
I agree. It just wasn't really epic and all that.
She was there to kill the Night King.
That's it.
My addendum to that, and I'm not 100% taking Sandrine's side on this, but a little bit I am. Because I still feel like, with his last gasp breath, he could have raised somebody.
Yeah. Well, you can't keep we can't keep raising people like that.
Raise Theon.
No. You got to wrap it up. Some people got to go. No.
We're going to talk about the dead people in memoriam.
Well, you know what? No time like the present. Let's talk about the following. Starting with the first to actually go, Ed. Ed was the first to go.
I was hoping for a quip.
Yeah, well, can't. I mean, it was like busy.
But
busy
I think
murked.
we called that, though, when we were talking previously, that Ed was going to be one of the first to go, if not the first.
Yeah.
And it made sense. I mean, he was up there in the front.
I thought Sam was going to get it, but basically Ed saved his life multiple times.
Yep.
I mean, Sam was like...
Sam can't die. He's going to write the song.
He's got the whole story. He's the one that's doing the story for us all.
It's always been my theory. And
yeah, I'm with you.
Every episode that he survives strengthens it.
There were some close calls, though.
He was some really close calls.
He was getting his ass handed to him.
But let's talk about Lyanna Mormont. Oh my God.
Bad ass.
They give her the best.
I was having some Attack on Titan flashbacks, first of
Yes.
all. And I don't want to spoiler y'all to that particular anime, but go check that out anyway.
Oh my God, that was such a cool moment. Oh, and the fact that, I was like, look, the fact that she survives getting beat up in one swipe, getting crushed on the way up, about to get eaten, and still, boom, one last move. Can I just say, the ladies in this episode got it. They brought it home. Melisandre, Lyanna, they did an amazing job.
Big things come in small packages.
We can't not talk about our good old friend Jorah, who was fighting to the bitter end for the love of his life. Dany, man, good ending for him?
Yeah, I think so. I would have maybe preferred for someone a little bit stronger to take him out, like maybe go one-on-one with one of the others, but one of the White Walkers. But yeah, death by 1,000 cuts seemed pretty good, so I was not displeased with his death scene, and Dany was suitably crushed by it, and then Drogon at the end, hovering over them and sort of protecting them with his wings. I was like, wow.
It was a touching scene, but it made sense.
Yes, it was good.
Jorah would have been there to protect Dany at all costs, putting himself on the line, risking everything to make sure that she was safe. So I was okay with it.
Absolutely.
But I'm with Kenny. I would have liked to seen a battle one-on-one with a White Walker and maybe more dramatic type death.
They didn't do anything. They were like a rap posse.
Yeah.
They just stood there.
Oh my god. Yes. All right. You do not know what rap is?
Sorry.
Wrap up the rap reference?
Wrap up the rap.
Before we actually talk about Theon, I want to talk about Melisandre. Let's do this out of order. Why do you think she just made the decision to just wrap it up for herself?
I think she burned herself out, honestly. I think she was out of energy.
So she was just like, let me just go out on my own terms kind of thing?
Yeah, I think all the things that she cast, and there was a lot of massive spells that did a lot of things and covered a lot of ground. I think that was it for her.
So clearly there's a difference in this world versus D&D, because although she was ritual casting, she still expended all the spell slots she had.
Yeah.
Wow,
because these were
George writes a tough world, man. I don't know if I could DM that.
that was a tough way to go.
Kyle would hate this world. Is there any healing?
Here's the thing, though. I have to say I enjoyed the way they treated her character in this episode. Just overall, she came in at the right moments. She said the right things. Even in her final conversations with Davos saying, don't worry. This is it for me. You don't have to kill me right now. I know you said you were going to kill me. Just hold on to that notion. And then at the end, Davos was about to kill her. It's like, where do you think you're going?
Right.
Come here.
Right.
Davos is like, he has a one-track mind, so he was ready to go. Even though she literally saved their butts multiple times in this episode, he was like, still gotta go.
He made a promise, though, and he's a firm believer. I think Stannis has taught him the years of being with Stannis that you got to fulfill on your word.
Well, he's never going to forget Shireen. So
For sure. Now, this brings us to one of the big final deaths for one of our faves, Theon. Theon, who, by the way, really came through with the archery at the end. They took on quite a bit.
he was surrounded by corpses.
And damn. I mean, thank God there was a lot of one-shot kills, because there was no way.
Clearly has the sharpshooter feat.
Clearly. So yeah, I was taking them down while Bran apparently was out on a warg adventure. I was like,
We're just going to fly around with some ravens.
like, what was he doing?
He was chilling, taking a look at where the Night King was. Now, here's the problem I had with that. Finding the Night King, to what purpose?
What do you mean?
He didn't communicate any of this information to anybody. He's just flying around in ravens the whole time.
I guess, okay. So here's the thing. I'm with you. Actually, I agree with you. It was like, it felt a little lame. But if he knew what was going down, there was nothing else for him to do but wait.
Sure.
He just needed to be there in his wheelchair so that he could look up at the Night's King. Sort of maybe. I was hoping for like a little smile. It might tip us off, but then I'm like, oh, he's not smiling. Maybe he's gonna die.
I thought he was going to say something. I thought the Night King was going to say something like for the first time.
Words from the Night King.
Yeah, and I thought, there was going to be an exchange of some sort, but it didn't quite happen. And now here's the thing that I thought was pretty epic about that final scene. So Theon is about to go charge, and he didn't have to do this. Bran says, "You're a good man. Thank you."
And you're home.
You're home. That's true. He did say that. And I was like, he didn't have to, but I think it was like speaking for the audience and saying, thank you for your service. You've done well, good sir.
It was a good send off for Theon. Again, one of my favorite characters. Technically, he's my favorite character.
Yeah.
And I am pleased with his story arc.
Yeah, that was a good way of ending it. It was expected, but it was well done. Which brings us to the final scene between Bran, the Night King, and our surprise guest, a rogue extraordinaire, coming with a death from above?
Oh!
Death from above?
Extra damage!
Extra damage with death from above? Oh my god. Can I just say?
Technically, she didn't hit with the death from above.
Right.
He turned around and caught her.
And she had an extra attack.
And she had her sneak attack in there.
That was a sneak attack.
That was sneak attack!
We need to have a little counter at the bottom of this for like D&D references. Ding! Like cinema sins. Ding, 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 ding,
Hashtag
ding, ding.
D&D.
Guys, if you don't play D&D after this, I don't know what I can do for you. Because this is literally the stuff that we do in D&D. Like, literally like that.
Some of us do.
Okay, you know what?
Wow, shots fired.
Some of us just light fires like Melisandre.
Last I remember, Americ's character had more experience points than Eric's character, however.
Oh, snap.
That's what happens when you
fired.
miss an episode.
The whole act. Like, honestly, for me, top 3 moments in Game of Thrones series history. Like, for me.
And they foreshadowed the whole dagger drop
Yes.
when she was dueling Brienne, so that was cool.
Beautiful. I love how they
appreciated
played
that.
that in
Yes.
there, Kenny. And,
Yes.
and you had mentioned that when we were watching it. I thought it was fantastic. And the Night King had one arm hand on her throat, one arm hand holding her weapon hand that was trying to stab. So he had nothing else he could do.
Yep.
Fantastic.
That was it. He had no... She got him.
Now I'm going to eat crow here because I had said that the Valyrian steel wouldn't outright kill him, turn him into icicles, and it did.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
So that, I mean, I don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen in the book, but overall, fantastic way, especially given credit to Arya. She truly is a force to be reckoned with.
For sure. I mean, let's be clear. This entire episode ranks up there in terms of one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen on TV, ever filmed, I would argue. I know a lot of people are going to say Lord of the Rings. You know what? Lord of the Rings ain't garbage compared to this. It's nothing. It's nothing. Better than Lord of the Rings.
We're emotionally invested in this.
I was 100% emotionally invested in this.
I was 100% thinking that most of the people were going to die. So
Yes.
yes, I was emotionally invested in this.
So, we're in agreement.
Scary.
A fantastic episode.
Fantastic.
I'm going to say I preferred the last episode to
I
this
do
episode.
too. I do too. Just because the setup and the
Because-
closure and the different reunions. Kenny, what are your thoughts?
My thought is that, again, the Night King beat a little bit easily, and now we have 3 episodes of what exactly?
Oh, okay. No, hold up. Let's rewind this, okay? Easily? Hardly easily. It was at great cost to them. They lost all the Dothrakis, most of the Unsullied. Some of our faves got. Like, what else can you ask? It was not easy.
Yeah, but she just had to touch him once. Anybody just had to touch him once with a Valyrian steel dagger. Just give him a little pokey poke and that's it.
But think about what it took to get here. It took so much. It took literally the succession of action that it had to happen in order to have Arya be in that moment were so extraordinary that I think, honestly, you can't beat that.
I agree with that, but I still have trouble with him bursting off of one little shot in the stomach.
You know what? That's the thing. That's the thing about weaknesses, right? Like, that was his only weakness. Literally, he was immune to fire, which I did not think was possible. But that was his only weakness, which is why he wouldn't let Jon approach him. Because Valyrian steel was literally his only weakness. I'm not letting this guy come to me. Like, no, raise the dead. But what really got him, let me tell you what really got him, wasn't his weakness. It was his penchant for the drama. Right? For just setting everything up and coming in, being a badass, being like, yeah, mother.
He's never in a hurry, is he? He's just like, he's super cash.
Because he likes the drama, he got. That's what I'm saying.
He was overconfident.
He was very overconfident because he was smart, but he did what every villain does. You basically have your grandiose moment. Was it a monologue? No, he didn't say a word. But it was his form of monologue saying, see what I have done, see how I'm gonna end everything, and boom, got.
He got.
I can't believe we actually have 3 more episodes after this. How is this possible? Okay.
Cersei's more powerful than the Night King?
I don't think powerful. Cersei's smarter. Cersei would not do what he did. She would just go for it until it happened. So there are 3 more episodes. My thought, and I would love to hear your thoughts of how the 3 episodes are going to go. Next episode is going to be another battle for King's Landing. And probably, I suspect, one of the dragons is... Because the 2 dragons actually were seen in the preview, so they're still there. But one of the dragons is definitely not going to make it. And I think the episode after that, we're going to have... What
Well,
happens?
here's the thing. I think next episode is not going to be a battle episode. I think the next episode is going to be a setup episode. Now, we may have some sort of weird possible betrayal or a shocking death at the end of next episode, but I don't think we're not going to have the battle. So this is the battle for Winterfell. We're not going to have the battle for King's Landing, I think, until episode 5. And then 6 will give us our closure for the entire series.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Kenny. We have to have a setup. We have to have some travel.
Yep.
People aren't teleporting over to King's Landing.
If Littlefinger was still alive, they would be.
We still have Varys, though. Varys can seem to teleport from Essos over to Westeros.
But okay, so actually, I like that a lot. And if that's the case, then I think that we are gonna see Bronn in the next episode.
No, maybe he takes that crossbow and uses it.
I mean, one or both of the brothers get it.
Or I have a theory that maybe he doesn't, and instead he just kidnaps somebody.
Maybe, but Jaime and Brienne survived this episode, Americ. And you're telling me one of them's gonna die anyway?
Yep. Honestly, I think they're reserving some big deaths for the next episode. Yeah. Because we're all like elated. We're like, oh, we won, and that's when you pounce. That's when you kill your faves in the moment, in the best moment, at the height.
So I love Arya, but guys, she killing everybody. She got the Night King. She got Walder Frey. People think she's gonna get Cersei.
Why do they think that she's gonna get Cersei?
Well, my personal thing is I think she's going to wear Jaime's face and kill Cersei.
That's what I was going to say. She hasn't had a face moment yet.
True, but also, what did Melisandre say right before Arya took off and went after the Night King?
That she would...
About the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The blue eyes. That's when kind of set her off, and Arya realized, oh, I know what I need to do. Brown eyes. Green eyes.
Cersei has green eyes.
Ooh. This is going to be epic. Anyways, guys, this has been an epic episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts about your favorite moments. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? Comment below. Let us know. If you like what you see here, come back next week because we're going to review this all over again. Will Sandrine be around?
It depends whether Ghost shows up or not.
Who knows?
In my head canon, what happened, was they were all charging the Dothraki and Ghost, and everyone was charging the wave of undead, and the Dothraki went right into it, and Ghost said, no, nope. And he went that way into the woods and was probably chewing on a deer or something.
He got hungry.
So
on top of a hill and just watching.
So
going, wow, I'm glad I'm not down there.
Hashtag Axie was right.
All right. So if you want to see Sandrine come back next episode, hashtag bring Ghost back. That's going to bring her back. Leave that in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.
Sandrine, come on.
I'm not coming until I know for sure Ghost is alive.
Here.
Sandrine, come on, it's time.
No, I'm not coming until I know for sure Ghost is alive.
I guess we got to bring Americ.
All right. What is this throwing of the wolf thing?
3, 2, 1.
Come on! We need to get on this.